We're going to be doing our small group lesson today on comparing fractional parts of two objects. So here we have two congruent squares. They're congruent because they're the same size, same shape. They're both a 4 by 4 square. And so Scout's going to help me out here with answering some questions for me. So Scout, if I'm looking at columns that go top to bottom, what fraction of these columns are green?
2.
2 what?
4.
2/4. Okay, 2/4 green. All right, what fraction of these rows are green?
2/4.
2/4. Okay. 2/4 green. All right. Is this 2/4 that are green equal in size to this 2/4 that are green?
Yes.
Okay. So let's actually prove it to ourselves. Since we've got these square tiles, I can actually count how many square tiles are green and see that the area of this is 8 square green tiles. And I can also count this figure and see that this area is also 8 square units or square tiles. So they are in fact equal, okay? Now let's take a look at these. These are also equivalent squares. I've shaded them. So this time, what fraction of that square is actually shaded?
2/4.
Or
1/2.
1/2. Half of that is shaded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what fraction of that is shaded?
1/2.
1/2. Good. All right. Is this rectangular half equivalent to this triangular half?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me why?
Because they're like both equal on both sides, and they're a half.
What were the original figures? They were...
2/4.
No, the original figures were what to each other?
Oh.
Yeah, they are
Congruent.
congruent. Good. They were congruent with each other. So let's prove it though. So again, we're going to count how many full squares we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares. So the area of that is 8. Now let's count the whole squares here first. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's look at these triangles here. Triangles, that's funny. I said that weird, didn't I? Okay, if I take a square and I do that, how many triangles make up that square?
2.
2. So this black triangle right here is half of my square. So for every 2 black triangles, that would make 1 square. Good. So that makes the 7th square right there if I put those two together. And these two together would make the 8th square. So just like this one, I have 8 full squares. So we just proved to ourselves that these are actually equal. This 1/2 is equal to this 1/2, even though they don't look the same. They are not the same shape, but they do have the same area. Okay, now let's pretend like we go to Pizza Hut and we get one of those personal pan pizzas. Okay, so they're smaller, right? And we're going to cut it into 4ths. So here is my 1/4. Okay. Now Mom and Dad, they get a large pizza. So here's their large pizza. And just for the sake of this, let's say that it is also cut into 4ths. So here's my 1/4 here. My marker's going to die. Okay. So there's also 1/4. Now, is this 1/4 piece equal in size to this 1/4 piece?
No.
Why not?
Because they're bigger.
What's bigger?
Or like the bigger pizza has
Yeah.
a bigger piece.
The pizzas were not congruent or not the same in size to start with. I can't compare 1/4 of a personal pan pizza to 1/4 of a large pizza. Those are two very different sized things. So I can only compare fractions when my original figures are equal sized or congruent, just like these 2 yellow squares were congruent to start with. So we cannot compare fractions when our original figures were not the same size.